All right, what's poppin', everybody? Welcome back to the FNB App Academy 2025. I am your host. My name is Karabo Mohol. I'm always thrilled and excited to be part of this beautiful ecosystem, which is the App Academy, the perfect place to get you guys kickstarted on building those winning apps of yours. All right, so congratulations, you guys have now made it into the advanced phase of the App Academy. This is the final stretch where you guys just have to continue pushing as we reach the finish line of this beautiful ecosystem. All right, so the previous session was a wrap up of the intermediate phase where we had a session with Nolotando and Talaha, who have been instrumental in this App Academy journey. So thank you so much, Nolotando and Talaha, for that engaging conversation that we had, which was really insightful for all of you developers to be part of. All right, so today's session will be an intro into the back-end development with Kingsley, aka Skinny. But before we get into that, let us meet the guys behind last year's Best Enterprise Solution at the App of the Year, Iris.
Iris is an automated algorithm, meaning that it's a personal safety app that's designed to ensure that you are safe at any point in time, moving through the different modes, which are green, amber, red, and blue. You can then swiftly move through the modes to make sure you are safe. It's a big winner. It comes at a point where a very sad part of our lives, where the president has dubbed GPV being the second pandemic. And as we are on 16 days of activism, the winner today is all those victims that now have a solution to look up to or to use whenever they're in trouble.
All right, awesome. Congratulations to Iris, solving an important problem with a unique solution. All right, guys, so this is the important part where we need to know what you guys have been up to on social media. So please let us know what these lessons have been informative to you guys, but also let us know what you guys are looking forward to in this particular phase of the advanced phase. So speaking about social media, please do let us know what you guys have been up to on social media. Don't forget to hashtag FNB App Academy. Also, let us know what you guys are looking forward to this particular phase of the advanced phase. All right, so speaking about social media, let us see what you guys have been up to on social media this week.
This is Grace, a proud tech girl with big dreams and even bigger determination. Thanks to FNB Academy, she's not just learning about technology, she's becoming part of the future that shapes it.
All right, awesome. It's always beautiful to see you guys' reaction on social media, letting people know out there what this ecosystem is all about. All right, so guys, let us get into this week's lesson as we get into the intro of the back-end development. Now, guys, this is about to be a little bit of a marathon, so brace yourself and let us over and meet Skinny. All right, awesome. So right now we're joined in studio by Kingsley. He is a senior developer at Siaka Consulting. And obviously we have all grown to know him in the app development journey as Skinny. My brother, how are you, bro?
I'm good, and yourself?
Very good, man. Thank you so much for being part of this particular FNB App Academy. But obviously you have been instrumental in the ecosystem as an app developer, right, in the App Developing Academy. Let us know that journey and where we are today.
Awesome, awesome. No, thank you so much for inviting me, and this is a great platform to actually share knowledge. From my side, I actually started as a preliminary, sometimes English kills, but you know what I mean? Yes, as a judge, and where we get a chance to actually test, applications before they actually goes to the final rounds.
Yeah.
And from then, I moved into the App Academy as a coding instructor or a facilitator. And that time, I was actually doing AI with no code, using the platform called Glide as well. I went through some of the few basics of data science as well. And personally, I have a background in robotics as well as machine learning, data science as well. I'm actually currently studying to become a cybersecurity specialist as well.
Beautiful, man.
So yeah, that has been my journey, and I loved it. Got a chance to actually meet beautiful people such as yourself, industry mentors, and also got a chance to actually perform last year as well in the previous FNB App Academy as well. So it has been a beautiful journey, and I'm happy to be here again to share knowledge and to build these cool projects. Yeah.
Hey man, that is Skinny. As he said, he's been instrumental in the industry for the past 10 years, and he's here obviously to share that knowledge that he's acquired throughout his journey. Obviously, I know Skinny as him being a mentor and a facilitator in a lot of initiatives that we've had throughout the course of the years, which is truly extraordinary. My brother, obviously, this is the App Academy. We've reached now to the advanced level, right? Obviously, they've been at this for the past couple of weeks.
Personally, I have a background in robotics as well as machine learning, data science as well. I'm actually currently studying to become a cybersecurity specialist as well.
Beautiful, man.
So yeah, that has been my journey, and I loved it. Got a chance to actually meet beautiful people such as yourself, industry mentors, and also got a chance to actually perform last year as well in the previous FNB App Academy as well. So it has been a beautiful journey, and I'm happy to be here again to share knowledge and to build these cool projects. Yeah.
Hey man, that is Skinny. As he said, he's been instrumental in the industry for the past 10 years, and he's here obviously to share that knowledge that he's acquired throughout his journey. Obviously, I know Skinny as him being a mentor and a facilitator in a lot of initiatives that we've had throughout the course of the years, which is truly extraordinary. My brother, obviously, this is the App Academy. We've reached now to the advanced level, right? Obviously, they've been at this for the past couple of weeks. How do you then begin to push them for that last stretch as we finish this beautiful App Academy?
So it's actually going to be simple and easy for you to actually feel welcome. We're not gonna give you a lot of knowledge so that you get confused. We're gonna do advanced techniques, but we're gonna take them as beginners because of, yes, you have been learning these basics. You still need to make sure that your fundamentals are strong. So we're gonna go through steps. We're gonna show you how to actually work with these technologies that seniors, intermediate, advanced techies they're actually using in the industry as well. So as a beginner, or even in advance, I always tell us that we never leave the beginner stage because we always have to go back and revisit what we need to revisit. So it's going to be a beautiful journey. It's going to be a beautiful session, and we're not going to overload you with a lot of information. We are going to be using Google. Google should be our friend, as my mentor used to call Google. So we're going to be using Google to actually, solve these issues, do a couple of research as well, and build something that's tangible.
All right, as you guys heard it, that's it with Skinny. Get your pens and paper ready as he is going to bombard you with knowledge. I know Skinny's going to give you guys so much. My brother, all the best and enjoy, yeah?
Thank you so much.
Cool, Skinny guys.
Oh. Good day, everyone. I hope you guys are doing well. As I was introduced, my name is Kamogelo Kingsley Khwedi, known as Skinny, and I'll be taking you guys through with back-end development, and we're also going to be talking about which stack we can use for back-end development and how are we going to be using it, and a little bit introduction to one of my friends. His name is Django. But before we go into Django, I would like us to actually picture how Backend works, and I'm also going to be explaining step by step how Backend communicates with the front end as well. So Backend is more on what happens where behind the scene. So you have the front end, what the user sees with their naked eyes, touch and feel, if it's a button, for an example, if you're building an app or a website. Backend is what happens where behind the scene, where the user cannot see anything. So where it deals with your servers, your data, and APIs. And along the line, we are going to be learning about APIs and how they work. So let's now get started with Django, and let's understand why is he good with backend. Okay. So now, quick question: who is Django, and why is he good with backend? So now, before we get into who is Django, we're just going to go through an overview on what we're going to be learning. So we're going to learn about who is Django, why Django, how can we use Django, and how can he help us build projects, and also the Django and his structure, so the project architecture, and also now how to run Django, so how to run with Django, just to keep it simple. Then also we're going to go through the applications built with Django, and also back ends meet front end. Okay, that's Django, my friend here with the nice glasses and nice hat, and we are now getting to work with him. So he's going to tell us what to do, and we're also going to tell him what we want. Awesome. So now, as I was explaining, so backend development is actually something that involves everything that happens behind the scenes of a website or an app. So it also handles data. It also handles your server logic, your APIs, or integrations with your database. So now, for your application to store data into a database, it needs backend. You cannot store data just by using backend. We need to have, just by using front end, we need to have backend. Okay. So, with backend, we as developers, we actually make sure that systems run smoothly, enabling user-facing interface. So this allows us to interact with the underlying infrastructure. And we write code that actually links browsers, your like Safari, your Opera Mini, your Brave, your Chrome, Edge. If you like using Edge, good. Some of us don't like use Edge, but I've seen that it's improving as well. To databases. So your database includes your MySQL database. If you're using local, you can download XAMPP. There's also Postgres, which uses PSQL, PGSQL, if I'm not mistaken. There's a number of databases. There's also SQLite. That's what we are going to be using in this session as well. And it also allows data to be stored, retrieved, and also removed whenever you want or whenever you feel like. And this method involves, I don't know how to call it, but it involves something called CRUD. So create, read, update, and delete. We're also going to show you guys how that works as well. So now we do have different types of environments as well, but in a team collaboration, back-end developers get a chance to actually work with front-end developers, architects or QA testers, some individuals that like testing applications as well, and also product leads. And the languages are commonly used is Python. That's what we're going to be using with the framework Django. There's Java as well. There's Ruby, and also there's different types of backend technologies as well, such as PHP with Laravel. That's one of our main stack from our side as well. So I've also created a little bit of a backend backend developer versus the backend engineer as well. So the role backend developer now implies a specific features. So we're working with set of parameters to test ideas. And now the backend engineer, they're the ones who actually designs the system architecture and oversees the broader structural strategy. So they're the ones who actually design how the application would behave, and developers, they develop how the application should behave. Awesome. So now what we're going to be learning is the back end versus the front end development, right? So now this is where things get interesting. So before we get into this scenario or the testing case or whatever we would like to call it for now, so I want you guys to picture three individuals, right? We spoke about the back end engineer, which normally they're the one who designed the system architecture. Then we also spoke about the back-end developer. Now, I'm going to exclude the back-end engineer and only work with the back-end developer, the front-end developer, as well as a full-stack developer. So full-stack developers are the individuals that actually have both skills. They know how to work with the back-end as well as the front-end, right? But right now, what we're talking about is the individual, the back end as well as the front end. You can be both. No one's gonna beat you. You're fine. You're safe. They won't call police on you on that one. It's safe. But in most cases, there are individuals that like focusing only on the back end, and the rest will focus on the front end. Then there's us. So from my end, I would like to call myself a full stack developer because I do both. I do back end as well as front end. Sometimes front end is not that quite good, but we'll show you guys how to actually get it good. Okay, so now I want you guys to think right here. I've compiled something that says think of a backend developer as an unseen powerhouse that keeps a website or an app humming. You know, like the mechanics under a car's hood. You know, remember what we see in the car or at the car or on the car. It's front end, you know, the wheels, the nice rims, the boot, the door, windscreen, and etc. The color of the car. That's what we see. That's front end. Now, the back end now is what happens inside. The engine, your clashes, the mechanics, the computer box, and etc. That's the back end. That's what makes the car move. That's what's makes the car lights, you know, what we see, what we hear, and moving and etc. So that's a back end. So another example would be, just imagine how this is back in the Kasi side. You know, when you're passing by the street, there's always, you know, our brothers and sisters building like your sofas, your beds, you know, outside they're using wood and etc. So there was a joke that they made, the internet made, you know, users, techies, they made and posted online saying that back end versus front end. So with the back end, it's always messy. Always messy. You'll find that they also left their shoes inside your couch there. If you open up, there's a jacket that, you know, Skinny left in there while he was, you know, making your sofa. But you will not know up until the day you start to open your couch. You know, you'll find other stuff. Maybe I even hidden 2 million inside that couch as well. You never know. Maybe it's something else as well. But back end, it's always messy. According to the development jokes, if I can put it that way. You can clean your code, it can be proper, but they always say that if it works, don't touch it, you know. So now when you come to the back end side, when it comes to development, it also helps with managing servers, handling data, authentication as well, and powering APIs. These are connected in different parts of your application as well. It is not flashy, but without it, nothing functions. Ne? You can create a nice web app application, no backend. It does whatever. Click, 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 and click, and click. But when you start creating an account, nothing gets created because there's no back-end connection on your application that allows you to connect or store those credentials in your database. You need backend. Now, if we flip to the front end, what we see is that everything users engage with. Here in my computer, this is front end. I click the button, I see that there's 1, 2, and etc. Inside there's a backend, the mechanisms, all these things, your hard drives, your RAMs, microcontrollers, the resistors, and all these things inside the computer. That's the backend. So now, everything that the user engage directly, it's considered as a front end, you know. So from where your page loads to your placement of your button, animation, That's what front end actually. It deals with visual experience. So mostly it actually developers use languages like HTML, CSS, JavaScript. These are common skills that developers should know how to write HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Then from then you advance to your frameworks, your React, your Vue.js. I'm starting to like React now with the Next.js. It's beautiful. I like it. And now this actually shapes what the user see and touch. Your front end needs to feel welcoming, needs to make sure that the users are interacting. They like that button that blows and all these things. But at the back end, we got heavy army working on that back end, making sure that the look and feel looks proper as well. So now, in short, the back end is the logic and structure, so how it works, and the front end is the presentation and the usability, how it looks and feel. And both are actually very, very essential, because working with them provides you to actually deliver a complete and seamless digital experience. Okay, as you can see also on the picture there, we have a nice front end picture that has sunny with flowers and the baby there with the dad. But the back end, we see that something is happening. Everything is messy there. It's not what we see. Servers, connection, buttons, whatever not buttons that you see, but the functionality, so that when you click something, it sends an email or it submits something or stores the data. That's what's happening there. Okay. So now we're going to move on to a back-end responsibility. So back-end responsibility or back-end developer responsibility. So there is more. I just went and I captured a few ones. There's more. So we have website development. So you guys, back-end developer, you get to create and maintain the back-end logic that supports the websites and application. Okay. Clean coding, it's not true. It's true, not true, depending on who you are. But trust me, from my experience, I've never seen a clean back-end code. Maybe you'll be the first one to see from mine. I'm kidding. But yes, so you have, you write the structure of your code, clean code, write structured code, or scalable and reusable code as well. So what I like about back-end as well is that the features or the functionalities, you can actually reuse them in other components or in other applications. So giving you an example from our side, we have a couple of projects, 5 of them. Yeah? I did mention about, the projects that we're working on, etc. But we have a couple of projects that we're working on. And all of them, they are in their own servers, own domains, own hosting environment, and etc. Then we also have one main application. So in most cases for SSO, yes, single sign-in, forgot about the O, but we'll check what does it mean. But it's more of a single login. So you have an API that you use to log in to multiple applications, but using one credentials. But in this case, what we did is we created individuals projects, and they do have LMS inside. So you created an LMS, we created an LMS for one project 2 and 3 and 4 and so on. But we realized that, okay, for us to create LMS from the scratch, it's going to take time for each individual project. So what we did, we built one LMS feature, and we took those things, we added them, the reusable code, we added the code in those other ones. So just embedding the features and just changing the name. So if LMS 1 was about business and LMS 1 is about agriculture, we just want to change the functions or the classes into maybe we would say course underscore business, course underscore agriculture. But the same feature, the same functionality is more or less the same. You can keep it the same. You can just say course without underscore, but they'll still work the same. That's how clean and reusable code works like. Another one would be testing your application, so the quality of your application as well. So ensuring that the functionality and the responsiveness of the application through a routine testing, it's proper. So backend developers, they also test their features. We can create beautiful backend logic, and our front end could be not even good, doesn't have colorful buttons and etc. But as long as the functionality works, it does what it needs to be, what it needs to be doing, you are good to go. Then we also have performance monitoring as well. So this is where now you evaluate your system's speed, and also give you suggestion to make enhancements if they are needed. So for an example, the backend will actually now identify or get an understanding that, if a user logs in, email, password, press login, how long does it take to actually respond to the next page? Does it take too long to process, to check in a database and etc.? If it does take too long, just know that something's wrong with your application. But because nowadays people just want quick things. I don't want to spend 5 hours or 5 minutes just waiting for a page to load because I've pressed login. So you need to also check the performance of application with the code that you're writing as well. Okay, debugging. This is what most of us hate. I have a friend who likes debugging because he said that it actually gives him an opportunity to actually challenge him to see how he can solve problems quicker, faster, smarter, and different ways to actually write code and solve problems as well. From my side, personally, I do not like debugging because debugging mostly takes time. Sometimes you might miss column, a comma, and you're trying to identify where is it, but when you're reading through because you're tired sometimes, or you don't like debugging like myself, you would not spend too much time there. But it's a must. You need to know, you need to understand, because the minute you get an error, if it's on the live one or on testing side, you need to identify that error first and how quickly you are to actually fix it. Because remember, applications, mostly they run the business. If it's something like your Uber Eats and people are pressing order and they keep getting an error, you're not fixing it, they'll go to Bolt Eats or Bolt Foods or whatever food application are out there. So you need to make sure that those debugs are actually fixed. So from our end, we also not created. There's a platform called Inspector, because from our end we use a different technology as well. So with Inspector, what it does is gives you an API key. We will get into the APIs. So if you're being bombarded with API, what is an API? You can, chill a little bit, drink coffee while you're looking into the lesson or listening to me, research on your phone and etc. on just what is API. But we will get into that as well. But that platform provides us with an API key, and we plug it into our application, and it actually checks the whole application without us writing everything. It checks the whole application from start to finish, from back end to front end, and gives us an analytics and report as well as notification. Each time a user logs into the application, it captures that, it records it, and say, okay, if there's an error, it immediately sends myself and my team an email saying that, we've identified an error on this, and you don't have to worry, say, where's that error? It actually provides you with that error as well. I've seen also they've embedded an AI so that you can just ask the AI to say quick fix, and it guides you on what to actually do that. Power to AI, loving it. But for us, it's just to say, we see that emails are not being sent out. We can identify that error. We can identify where's the issue. We're now we are able to actually pick up and solve that fast. We don't have to say, where's that error and whatnot and whatnot. It's actually quicker. We don't even have to wait for testers in our company to say, hey, I found this error and whatnot. It's good for them to actually do that because software testers are very important. So you should also consider having a software testing skills as well. Now, support and training. Backend also offers an ongoing assistance and guidance for junior developers. So you have your senior developers, advanced developers who are actually mentoring and assisting us with backend, so that you can also follow a coding standard that they use to actually debug or write code as well. So we also have our own trainings at our digital team where we actually show, okay guys, this is an application that we built. It has 1, 2, 3 features. If it's courses related LMS, no one touches it. We already have that feature. Just going to do copy and paste. Make sure that same feature works on this one. You don't have to redo everything. That's what reusable code. And also, I forgot, I keep saying reusable. It's actually readable code. Reusable, it's beautiful, but readable code. The reason why I'm going back to readable code as well, I just thought of something that most people are struggling to actually read other people's code, But if your code is actually clean, it's well written, it's properly structured, it will be easy for another developer to understand what you are working on. Maybe we're working on a group, we're building something here and there, and after doing that, we identify that, okay, your feature is working and my feature depends on your feature. I need to also understand what you've been doing so that if I encounter anything related to your code, I'm able to actually pick up and fix it and let you know as well and say, hey, I picked up an issue from my code and what is related to your code. I managed to sort it out, this and this and that. That's how it works as well. Okay, so common tools are being used as in backend. We have Python. This is what we're going to be working on. We have PHP as well. I love it. I hated PHP, but I love it. And we also have JavaScript. Did not like JavaScript, but you are forced to do it. But now, as I mentioned, I love React, love Next.js and Vue.js. Beautiful. We also have Ruby. I've read about Ruby before, but never gave it a chance. Java, I'd say I've enrolled in Udemy courses and other platforms as well for Java just to understand, because I realized that most companies, if you go, see now we're doing FNB App Academy. If you go to FNB's profile and go through the jobs descriptions, you will notice that they always include Java. Java is there as well. It's strongly used by big corporate companies or organizations. Then we also have C# as well. The last time I've touched C# was 2018. Then we also have the frameworks. So now frameworks, it's something that I don't know how to put it, but it's something that makes it easy for back end and front end to communicate as well. Then you also have Laravel, you have Django, you have Spring, Rails, we have Meteor, we also have Node.js as well. Database, there's a number of databases, there's a lot of them. So here I've included MySQL, you have MongoDB, as well as Oracle. So if you go online and you want to grow your skills, check Oracle courses as well. There's a certified SQL as well, but don't worry, we're also going to provide just a little bit knowledge on that one as well. There's also SQLite. This is what we're going to be using instead of the heavy SQL. We also have the servers, Apache or Nginx. Some the other name, but I think it's two different platforms. It's called ngrok, but Ng. It's sort of like an engine, Nginx. Then we also have your Microsoft IIS. Then you also have your Light PD. Okay, so in this picture, we also have web development technology stacks. You have your front end, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, your back end, Ruby, and Python, Java, .NET, which is C#. Then you have your database, which is your MongoDB, MySQL, Postgres as well is there. PGSQL. It's there. Your DevOps. One thing, back-end developers and front-end developers and full-stack developers, you need to know and you need to have a DevOps skills. So DevOps deals with your, servers where your application is being developed. So we use GitHub Actions to actually deploy our application as well. It's beautiful and it's nice. And one thing I like about DevOps is because of you get a chance to actually work with different cloud platforms, your AWS, your Google Cloud, your Microsoft Azure Cloud as well, where you can actually host your application or deploy your application. We also have mobile app development. There's Swift, there's Android, iOS, there's technologies like Dart, Flutter, Ionic, which you can use React, Vue, and Angular as well. So now just to go back a little bit, remember I spoke about the SSO, which is the single sign-on. So that functionality or mechanism, it allows you as an individual to actually create a single sign-on on different applications. Like I mentioned, we have 5 different applications. And with our organization, what they need is they need users to actually get in touch or get to consume content from different platforms, but they want them to use only one credential. So if you create an account on application 1, they get created on the other application, so that you don't have to recreate different accounts on different applications. So it's a single sign-on. Okay, you may check it out as well. It uses APIs as well. But yeah, that's what I wanted to actually do, and I remembered. Thank you so much. So now we are going to move on to the next slide. Okay. So since now we have been talking about the back end, from here, we're not going to spend too much time because we need to do a little bit of coding and building this application. So what's going to be happening now is that we're going to start with the Django framework. So now Django is actually a powerful high-level Python web framework which is designed for development and clean and maintainable design. It actually simplifies the creation of complex database-driven websites by providing reusable components as also built-in features. So when we're talking about built-in features, we're talking about something like authentication, URL routing, and templating. And these are something that we are going to be using, and including backend as well. And popular companies like, Instagram, Mozilla, and the Washington Times, they rely on Django as well. That's something that I've realized as well. So applications like your Netflix, if you want to build your own Netflix clone, you can use Django with Python as well. And it is easy, and I like it for its scalability and efficiency as well. Now, if you expand if we expand our explanation in Django, it's actually free. It's an open source web framework written in Python. If you know Python skills, you're good. There's another framework called Flask as well, and I haven't been focusing that much in Python in the previous couple of months, but I've seen that there's other frameworks that they have released as well. I haven't played around them, but if you want to, you can go ahead and do that as well. And it also followed the boundaries included philosophy, yes. And it means that coming with essential tools and libraries needed for web development. So by emphasizing don't repeat yourself principle, Django would actually help us as developers to build secure and scalable application quickly. It also provides with security as well. You can improve the security, but I like that it actually provides that to you. Okay, excuse me. So now we do have key features of Django. The ORM, which is the object relation mapping. This simplifies database integrations without writing raw SQL. So you see, that's why we're doing SQLite. Then we also have admin panel. It auto generates interface for managing site content. So now, let us say you are building an application and you only want to focus on the front end, the user's dashboard, your admin's dashboard. You don't want to recreate it from scratch. Django provides you with that. It provides you with a beautiful, clean, and simple back end. You don't have to recreate it from scratch. Okay? Security as well. I did mention about security. It provides you with the built-in protection against SQL injection. Guys, whenever you're building an application, you need to understand something. Build with security in mind, so secure by design. You need to make sure that whatever application that you're building is secure. If you're dealing with data, password, storing any information into your database, make sure you also include security as well, to avoid SQL injection, to also provide you with the security when it comes to the XSS and also the CSRF. This is something that you'll see more often when we're dealing with Django. It's what we need to, it's the security behind capturing your data, if I can put it in this simple manner. We also have scalability, and this scalability is just powers your high traffic site like Instagram and the other application as well. That's what the core features or the main few features of Django. There's more as well. Okay. So this is just to compare something between Django and Flask. You can see that, with the structure when it comes to Django, we have the MVC model, or like the MTV as well, not MTV base, but MTV. And the other one, it's just, unopinionated or modular. We do have a full featured app with Django, Instagram, for an example. And the other one is just small apps for prototyping, like API, small applications. The built-in ORM, Postgres, and Postgres SQL or MySQL. And the other one requires extensions such as SQL Alchemy, yes. Then we have the admin panel, auto-generated. The other one doesn't have, you must build it. The other one is actually high and also handles a number of the scalability is high as well. We made an example as well with these queues, handles 8,000 billion plus monthly comments as well. The other one just needs manual optimization. Okay, move on to the next slide. So this is just how the MVC model looks like. So the MVC or MVT or MTV, if you like to put it that way. This is how it works. You have the user connects with your Django application, the URL, your views. After you have your views, you have your model and your template, what we see. Templates, what we see. Okay. So now, this is just a simple model on Django. A model. Remember, we deal with the MVC, the model, the view, and the template or the controller for C. So MVT or MVC. Okay. So this is how you actually define your database. You have your tables, fields, relationships as well. And how it works is that you write a Python class in modules.py, then Django automatically converts it into database table. You also handle data validation and store and retrievals. Okay, so in this section, what we have, it's a code that creates a blog table with title, content, and publish dates fields. So you have your import there. You say from Django.db import models. These are built-in libraries. So you don't have to recreate them from scratch. It's already there. It's already, developed for you while you're installing your application. We'll show you how to do that as well. So now here what you're doing, you create a class. You say models.model because it's a model. Remember, anything that has to do with database whenever it comes with Django has to do with the MVC or the MVT or the MTV. You have your title and you actually say models.character field. You add your maximum length. So the maximum length is to say that, okay, I'm looking for a title and the characters shouldn't be more than 100. Imagine if you were looking to read a blog and the blog was long. The title was maybe 2,000. APIs built with Django and then it does 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's too long for us to read the space and etc. But you must keep it simple. You also have the content as well. So the content is the body, what the user will read. So we normally don't put it as characters. You either put it as a text field, okay? Because it's a text. Then you also have the publish date. Here you're using the date time field. So this allows us to actually capture the date. So you added the auto underscore and now underscore add true. This says that the minute you press submit, it captures the time, the real time you created that application or that content or that blog. Okay. And after that part, you now move into the view. MV, model, view. So the views. So the views, it's the functionality that contains the business logic, where the requests are being processed, interaction with the model, and also return response. Okay? For an example, how it works is that you would write a function or a class in the view, and it will take a user's request, fetches or modify the data via model, and send it back to the controller or the T, which is the template. Okay, so we have a number of code here of the block. So what we did here, we created the model for database to store in the database. Now we're creating our view, the functionality, the logic that takes the content from the database and provide it to the T, which is our templates, what we see. We say, okay, shortcuts, Django, from shortcuts, import render. The render in this case means that we need to render the data. We're taking data from the database. We need to render it to a template. So we're saying that we must import because it's a library or a plugin. We also want to say from .models, import blocks. All of the models instead of writing them one. So for example, we had the blog model. Instead, if we had the category, we will have category. But we're saying from all models, import the blog. You now name the other ones as well. Category instead of writing them individual, limiting space as well. Okay, clean code. Remember, clean code. Then here you want to define your function, which is the blog list. And we say blog list, it's a request because we are requesting what? The data from the database. We're also creating a variable, say blog. Blogs equals to blog, the model, dot object, all. Fetch all blogs from the database. Render those blogs and pass in that variable into the render line or the brackets and put it in the curly brackets so that we actually pass in the data. You also include the file name, list.html. If it's under a folder, you / that folder as well. Okay. And now when you now working with templates, presenting the layer, this is how it actually works. So the template, it's how data is being displayed in HTML plus Django template language. So you store data, or the files are stored in .html format inside a folder name called templates. Okay, and you also dynamically render the data passed from views, and this is how you actually pass it. You create the HTML, you create a for loop with ginger tags, say okay, curly brackets, percentage for blog in blogs, another percentage and closing curly brackets, then you're going to add where you need to list them. So blog dot title, the name of the title, blog dot publish underscore date, the date that the blog was posted. Then you end that loop. It's called a for loop because if there's more than one content, they're going to be displayed instead of always displaying them one by one. Reusable code, remember? Reusable code, and it's clean. Nothing messy here, nothing happens there. Okay, let's now move on to the next slide. So how the MVC works together, user request, view fetches data from the model interacts with the data and with the database and returns data, and view sends the data to the template, and the templates renders the final HTML and sends it back to the user, what we see. So you can check also why MVT or MTV if you want to switch it around. It's separation of concerns, clean code, maintainable code, reusability, models, templates can be reused, scalability as well, easy to extend without messy code with Django. That's what I like about it. Okay, so this is how the Django framework works, and what we are going to be doing now, it's a short practical to actually not really install, but to get familiarized with Django. But by now you should have installed Python in your machine, a basic knowledge of Python because this is not a beginner level, and also a terminal or a CMD, a command prompt, PowerShell or Bash. This is what we're going to be using as well. So you install your Python and Django, you set up an environment, you also start a new project, or configure the, and also not or, but and also configure a database. Okay, so these are the steps. So of installing your application and your environment and etc. So the project that we are going to be working with, it's called the data management application for surveys with Django. Okay, so what we're trying to do is we're trying to create surveys, and we're saying users must do what? Users must actually answer these surveys so that we collect data. It could be a survey for asking how FNB App Academinians, so if we can call them, have been doing in the course of the FNB App of the Year. Did you like this course? Was it difficult? Did Skinny fumble? Did Skinny say something wrong? Those type of questions, that's what we're trying to build as well. Just a simple survey application. The skills that you are learning here, they could take you to a different route, like the content management, task management application, as long as you understand the MVC model. So now, table of contents, setting up your development, which is installing your Python, installing your project, and etc. Then you're also creating the project as well. Or before creating a project, you need to also do what? You need to run the Python-m venv, and you name it whatever. This is where you create your what do you call your virtual environment. So the virtual environment are more of your container that will store all your dependencies, your libraries, your packages, whereby if you just install without creating that, they get installed in your computer as well. Like your computer, and sometimes storage messes up, your system behaves somehow. But if you create a virtual environment and you can only access that by activating it, then you're on a good side as well. Okay, so that's how you actually create it. And on Windows, this is how you're going to activate it. On Linux or Mac, that's how you actually activate it as well. So we're also going to be creating the application, designing the data model, setting up the admin interface, creating views with URL building templates with Bootstrap, handling form, adding authentication, and deployment consideration. So what I've done is that we're not going to build the application from scratch. We're going to go through the already built application and how did we do it to actually build the application step by step, because we're looking at how we can actually, complete this application in one go instead of, errors. We need to do errors, and like I mentioned, errors take too much time to solve them. Okay, but if you have AI, you're on a good side. Okay, so now this is how the project infrastructure looks like. Ne? So pip install, and after pip install, you remember, you went back here, you installed your Python, you've created your virtual environment, right? You activated it here, right? After activating it, you now say pip install Django, right? Once you're done with that, you go to the next step. We need these plugins. We need the crispy forms. We need the crispy bootstrap. This Bootstrap 5. We need the Python environment as well. Once that is done, you're on the good side. You're now going to create your project. Okay, your project, which is the one that we're working on. Our project, the server_manager. You direct yourself in that folder as well. Change directory to the project. Then from then you start creating apps. Okay, so now if we look at the Django architecture, like I've shown you in the previous moments ago, you have your project. Django has this thing whereby it provides you with application broken down into features. So if you say app, start an app, for an example here, people would think that, okay, we are creating another app. No. Django says that in order for just to put it on a safe side for you to actually create number of to avoid creating features in one folder to cause a lot of mental health problem, if I can put that way, but not in a bad way or good way, but in a stressful coding way. So it says that, okay, I have a project. This is our main project. And this project has these files. You have your init file, your SGI file, you have your settings file, you have your URLs file, you have the WSGI files as well, right? But this is the project only. The features, in my understanding, Django said, I'm going to consider these features as apps, but they are features. So if it's blog management, for example, your application deals with blog management, deals with task management, deals with survey management, deals with other types of management or features. I'm going to allow you to create these features in my application as apps to just avoid having a lot of number of scripts being written. So you know that if my feature is survey related, I'm going to create an app and say surveys. If your feature is blog management related, you're going to create it as blogs. You know that you're going to work on blogs and blogs. But at the back end, they are connected together as one. Okay. So right here, we have our application structure, which is the survey. Init file is there. You need to have it unless you're going to have errors. You also have admin. You also have apps.py, your models, test, for testing your application, and not migration, and you also have your views. So remember we spoke about the views. Then you have your migration table. Each time you create a model, you make a change on your model class or your model fields, you need to your migration will be stored under that under the folder migrations. Okay, so I'm not going to spend too much time explaining about the crispy forms, but crispy forms make our application look beautiful, not ugly, but look beautiful and smoothness as well. So for those who don't like spending too much time on the front end, they just want a simple application, you're maybe working on a prototype, crispy form is your guy. Then we also have Crispy Bootstrap 5. It allows you to use Bootstrap 5 CSS as well. Okay, he's your guy as well. Then you have the python.environment. So this is a library that loads your environment variables from the .env file into your application. Okay. Then this is just a summary of these three and how they're going to be working in this application as well. Okay, so it helps you render Django application, which is the crispy and structured in a visual appealing way. Crispy form provides a specific template that allows the Django crispy form to render this form with a Bootstrap 5 styling. Python.env helps you manage your application configuration, including sensitive information. For example, you're working with API keys. Remember, I'm just speaking about these words, but you'll learn more about them. So this is a key, and this key, it's private. No one needs to see it, but your application needs to use that key to unlock the doors so that users can now come into your application and access different features. So for you to store those keys where no one will have access to it, it's called the .env file. It's the environment where the environment files are being stored to also keep your main code base cleaner and more secure. Because if you expose your key on the front end or on your logic code, you're exposing your security. You're giving them your weak points. Next slide. So once you're done creating your application, you now need to register your application under settings. Under settings, you're going to go installed _apps. That's when now you need to install, which is, in this case, we said surveys. Remember, we also did what? We did install Django Crispy Forms and Bootstrap, Crispy Bootstrap 5, you need to register them there because they are also considered as apps, right? You register them so that your application knows that I'm dealing with these type of apps. Once you're done with this part, on the bottom line of your code, settings.py, you need to add these two lines. Crispy underscore allowed template underscore packs. You specify the name, which is Bootstrap 5. You say crispy underscore template underscore pack, Bootstrap 5 as well. This says that, okay, I've registered my application. I've also configured some of their configuration or their keys, and it will also allow us to actually do what the application doesn't give us any errors. Okay, so now this is just to explain more on the ORM, how it works. So you can go through it on your spare time as well. I am going to skip this part because I want us to start seeing the code and how it works as well. Okay, and these are the advantages of ORM. So user-friendly syntax, improved clarity, and optimized performance, and etc. Okay, then this is how you actually import your models. This is how you import your models. Remember the built-in model. The built-in model, you don't have to create your authentication models from scratch. Use what Django provides. It's easy. You can manipulate them. You can configure them however you want, but you can use the already built one, which is from django-contrib.auth.models import user. It's already there. That's how we import the models as well. Then now, this is where we need to go back. So remember now, these are your models. So I am going to skip this part. So we're going to go to, go to Google. You're going to type Firebase Studio, right? So the reason why I'm using this tool is my beautiful machine here, or my beautiful baby here, sometimes is very sick in nature. So to avoid having hair to freeze while we're doing lessons, I'm using an online platform for coding, but it's more or less the same. Remember, you go to Python, you download your Python, you install it into your application, then from then you create whatever application you like. So maybe I can just do Python -- version if that's the one. Then it shows that my Python has been installed. There we go. Right. So I can create a folder, and I'm going to say make a directory, and I'm going to call it FNB testing app. Okay. Then I go there and I say FNB testing app. It is empty. Nothing is there. Let me just clear everything out. Now, if we go back into our installation slide, I'm going to go back there. Let me quickly do a little bit of, should be using this guy. Okay, we're going to go back a little bit just to, remind us what's happening. Architecture. We did that. We said, what do we call it? Python version. Okay, now I'm going to check if we have pip version. Okay, say that pip version is there. Okay, then we are good to go. Then now what I need to do is to create a virtual environment. Okay, Python. Okay, we say -m venv venv. Then we're gonna call it testing test env. I might get an error, I'm not sure. I've never done this before. It's the first time doing it. Okay, but if we get an error, we will solve it. Don't worry about it. So it's gonna take not too much time, but dir. So if we check now, this is how it's created. Remember. So remember, if you're using Windows, how do you activate this? By doing this. You write the environment name. So from my side, it's test. You say that. Then you're gonna say \, right? You're gonna say scripts, \, then you activate it. Once you're done activating it, you would see some brackets there with your test environment. It means that you created your environment, right? Your virtual environment, yes. So once we're done, it's now installing Django. Okay, we're installing Django. While Django is being installed, we now go to the next one, which will be pip install Django Crispy Forms Bootstrap, and Python.net. Okay, while this guy is waiting, he's installing on the local. Okay, then now he is done. So it will tell you that, oh, a new pip has been released. You can upgrade it. You can just do Python -m pip install, then you say -- upgrade pip. Okay, already blah blah blah, it's upgrading. Good. So as back-end developers, whatever plugins, libraries that you work on, you need to also keep them updated because they change, right? They get improved. Because if now, excuse me, for an example, let's say I'm working on a library and I haven't updated that library for the next 2 months. It means that I'm also doing what? I'm exposing the securities, because if it's outdated, it's easy for people to hack it as well. It's easy for data to be leaked. So you need to always update them. Okay. So now this is what we're going to be doing as well. Pip install Django Crispy forms. Let me see. I'm correct. Yes. -forms. And did I write crispy proper? Then we're going to include the other one, which is crispy bootstrap 5 python-.env. Enter. If you get an error, we'll revisit what's happening. It's installing them. Good. All of these guys have been installed. There they are. Right? We're good to go. We haven't created any project. We just started to do it, to actually set up our virtual environment with the tools that we need to do. So now, creating a new project would be Django admin. Okay. Start the project. Start project. Is it? Yes, start project. Then you name your project. For this case, testing_project. Okay. This is how that project that we were going to be working on was created. Say enter. Right. Done. dir to check if it was created. Test_project created. We are good to go. Now, if we open our VS Code by doing code dash. I like shortcuts, but I'm definitely sure your computer does that as well. But if it doesn't, you can open it manually. Okay. Excuse me for that. We have our visual code here, Visual Studio Code, and we have our environment, the virtual environment, our project. There it is. So you said test_project, then it provides you with what? Remember these guys here, the structure. We have your ASCII, we have WASCII, we have URLs, we have settings, we have the init file as well. They are there. But we don't have these guys. Right? They are there. You can loop through them in. There's Python code. It is there. It's available. Sorry about that. These are the extensions. So you can go through these guys as well, understand what's working and what's not working. The security key. Remember now, this is the security key that I mentioned. It's more of the environment as well, the .env. But we'll get into that as well. And those install apps will be, each app that you create would be available here. So in this case, we have we have surveys, we have crispy_forms, we have crispy_bootstrap 5. So I would actually come and say crispy_forms, right? Then another one would be that. Like how now Visual Studio Code likes finishing the code for us. Okay, that's how it is. And you just make sure that your application are configured in the installed_apps. Okay, so now once that part is done, you will need to create your application. Okay, Python, or before, we need to change directory to our project, which is test_project. Okay, then we are in. You get a file, which is the manage.py. This is what we use to run migration, run the server. It's sort of like our applications engine, our application engine. So this is how we're actually going to be doing it as well. So now I'm done. I'm going to say Python manage, okay, start app. Then I'm going to call it testing app. Enter. So the application gets created. You now seeing that application right here, testing app. There we go. Not features, files have been created for you. Your views, your test.py models, your apps, your admin, but there's also one thing that was not created, which is the URL. So I always like starting with this so that I don't forget, like urls.py. Done. You can leave it like that. We will come back to it later on. Okay. You have successfully created your application project, your Django project, as well as the apps as well. Now, the designing model, the data model, it's what we're going to be doing in our application as well. But before that, let's now go into Firebase. Like, to be honest, Google is improving. This used to be Project IDX. Picture Visual Studio Code on steroids. They gave it a nice number of unlimited storage and etc. So this is what I like about this platform. It actually provides you with a prototype to create a prototype what's this application, or you can import your application from Git, from GitHub or whatever, or new and etc. You can explore here number of different stacks and etc. and whatnot. So from my end, what you can do is you can say new environment. You come here and ask you questions, say that, okay, web development, which stack do you want to use? You can just say simple, HTML, React, the other one here, Astro, Next.js, Angular, or more. They have, Vue.js, Solid.js, the other ones I haven't tested them, but there's more as well. Okay, then backend. You have Go, Python, Flask, Java, .NET, and these ones are Node Express, Laravel, or Python with Django. And there's more as well that are available. Okay, so if you're using this one, you'd click here. It's going to ask you for the project name. Maybe I'll say project FNB. Let me just say Backend -20, because it's just testing. I'm showing you how we're creating these projects here. So here, you don't have to worry about installing Python on your computer. You don't have to worry about your computer being slow because of the dependencies. It's generally on the cloud. Okay, excuse me for my English. So it is going to set up your environment, set up all your workspace, then boom, you have your nice Visual Studio on the cloud. That's what I like about these tools as well. So your project has been created. You didn't have to do project dot whatever. Database as well has been created. db.sqlite, it's there. You have your projects manage.py, it's there. You also have your URLs and etc. So the same project that is similar to this one, it's already there. See, it's also installing there. That's what I like about this platform. It is installing. You don't have to worry about everything. See, it also created its own environment. You didn't have to create anything about it. That's what I like about this platform. So we're going to do that. It provides you with a web interface and Google Gemini if you want to use it. But for now, we're not going to use that as well. Just keep that. See, Python has been created. Not Python. Django has been created with Django 5.0. That's the latest one. You can view this in a different browser. So it's going to say open or copy, and then you do this. Then it's going to open that application on a different browser. Okay, that's how it works. From then, let's move on, continue, and etc. Right. So I'm going to refresh this page. This is the project that we have been creating as well. In the meantime, while that is doing that, I'm going to open our, what do you call that thing? Documents, because I've created a documentation here as well to go through the projects, step by step as well. We are going through this document as if we are developing. We are in a company now. They gave us a project. We need to develop it as well. Okay. So once that part is done, let me just close these guys. Okay. This is the whole project. So don't focus too much on the number of other stuff, because those other stuff are different. They are different for different sections. But we are going to be focusing on what we need, which is a survey as well. Okay. So we need to activate our environment. So I'm going to do ls, which is here. In this case, I have my env is this one. So this terminal here, it's more like a Linux. So I'm going to say source, right? Then I'm going to call my env. I'm going to say bin, and I'm going to say activate. It's activated, right? Once that part is activated, you can install same thing that we just did. Same thing that we just did. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to separate this guy and put him here. Then we're going to do this. Slide. Then I can switch. Nice, nice. Okay. So this is what's going to be happening right now. This is a project structure. We go to it, which is surveys. Actually, not surveys, my side. Under my side, we know that we have these normal files. Okay. Sharp. Let's go back to our slide. So now, this is simple explaining the data models that we're going to be working with. Then I'm going to skip it. And now it's explaining how it works as well. So the first one that we need to sort out is the importing of the models that we want to use. Okay. If we go to our code and now we say, oh, I see that I do not have models. You're going to go create the same app that we just did. Remember how we did it right here? We said testing. We said Python manage.py start app, the name of the app. On the live one, what I did was say surveys. Then it created the surveys. If I do dr, created it. Remember. Then we came here. We said we need this URL because we're gonna use it, right? So now, Django has the urls.py inside the project with the settings. That's the main URL. Your application needs to have its own URL so that you can take that URL, import it into the settings URL or the project's URL, so that whenever I use type / this and this, it works. Okay? Okay. So now we're going to go to our applications, which is the survey one. Please ignore API for now. Then we are coming to the, the models. Okay. This is how the code looks like. So we said, okay, we need to import these two. There we go. We imported them, right? Because we need them. There we go. So now, if I had to now go to the local one, I'd copy these two or write them from scratch if you want to. Go to models, replace this one, but it's there. Then you just type it like that. Model. There we go. This is where now you start creating your class. Okay. Then now, the next step was to create your class model. For these two, don't worry about them now. I will explain them step by step. Okay. I think my baby is frozen. Let's see. Okay, he's not. I'm going to close this CMD for now because of my baby is very, very sick. Okay. Once we're done with that part, you now come and outline the fields that you want. So we say, okay, we want to create a class model called survey. It has to use the models dot model because it's a model. Then we say, okay, we need a title with the character for 200. We need a description, which is a text field, character, text field. We need to also add created by using foreign keys, the user from where? From here, from this model. That's why you see user here. And we say on underscore delete models cascade. So this, with my understanding, is that if you delete a course, a user, some of the data gets deleted. Anything that is linked with the user gets deleted. Or if you delete this model, the data that was added by a user skinny, anything related to the user and the model will get deleted as well, because they are linked using the foreign keys, right? Then you also created at the data, the date time field, and we said auto add now. You also have the updated at using the same field as well, but this says auto now. True. That one is auto underscore edit, and this one is auto, sort of like auto update now. Okay. We also have the is underscore active, which is a Boolean field, to true. This says, or it allows us to say the content or the data that we just added here is actually true. You know, it should be active, it should be visible to the user. If default was false, that means when you add and you don't tick this, it will actually go offline. It will actually not go offline. It will not be public. You as an admin, you will be only seeing it. Okay. So now we come through the mini function inside of a class. So which says define underscore, sort of like a string, underscore string underscore self, and return self dot title. This part here in the backend database, if you did not edit, your project or your data would be, for example, project 01. You add another one, project 02. You add another one, project 02, like the default one. I forgot the name, how it is, but it's the default one. The minute you add this, it's going to display the name from this guy, the name from this guy, instead of project 01 or object 01 and etc. That's what we're doing as well. So now the second part here, it's the URL. Okay? This part says guess the absolute URL, the self URL, and you also want to pass it in. You're going to pass it in the reverse and say survey details, argument, and you add that number there, not number, the string and the self.id. So here, it's allowing us to actually sort of like get the URL of your survey item. You know, it's easy for us to use it, but I have created a proper explanation there. We'll go through it when we get there. Okay, done. This is the first part. Okay. So now, this is what's happening as I was explaining. This is the class, the same class on the code. And now number one says, okay, this is a response model, and this defines the response model representing a single submission of a survey by a user. That's why we have the survey model. So, well, the survey model foreign key of this would be like that. So this is linked, or this links the response to the specific survey that was answered here. Okay. Then now we said related. We also have like the related response name, and this related response name will be available to our application as well. You'll be able to see them as well. So this part here says it allows you to access all responses. Yeah, all responses for a single, not a single, for a survey using my underscore, right? Survey.response.all. The purpose is to identify which survey this response belongs to. Okay. We also have the created, like I did mention about those guys as well. So what I wanted to explain was this part. It's the self, this one here. So this part here is the string representation will show you which survey was responded to and who responded. Who the respondent was. Anonymous if the responder was not linked to a user. Then we have the answer. So before we go to the answer, I was actually, the code that was there, oopsie, I think my precious guy is very, very sick in nature. That's what happens when you're coding. Okay, I think what I'm going to do, oh, there we go. So now we have the question. This is the model one. This question is the one that, it's the questions that we're going to be asking users to answer. So we have question underscore types has choices, because we have text answer, single choice, multiple choice. Then here we now using this class, you see the survey class, that the model that we just created, we're using it as a foreign key. And we said the related name underscore question. That's the line that I was explaining right here, this part here. This is how it's happening. Made a mistake by putting a wrong image there. Apologies for that. I was supposed to actually put the correct image. But we move on. Mistakes, we'll see them later on. We have text as well. We have the question type. The question type is a character. We said maximum 20, and we're adding choices. Choices says that, okay, question types, these ones here. So when we go to the back end, they're going to be like a drop down. So drop down, I want to add this as a text answer, single multiple choice, or single choice or multiple choices. Then we also have is required, underscore is required. It's a Boolean as well. It's a Boolean true. We also have the order, models integer, default 0. Then class meta, order, ordering, order. So this is to put them in order as well. Then we added the self one. The self return, it's going to return the self.survey title. Remember here on this question, we do not have the title, but it's going to take the title from the survey. That's why we added this line here. And it's going to also combine it with the text. Text, this one. 50 characters, just to display 50 characters. Okay, that's the question. Then you have your choices as well. You know, your choice model. You can create it similar to that one, just in case you want to add more. Okay. Then you also have the response. These are the response model and the question. Not the question, the answer model. Each model or the response, as you see model, it's always linked to a foreign key except for the first one, which was the survey. Then now you move on to our next step, which was the answer. So if you're going through this PowerPoint, maybe later on during your tea hours, whatever, you want to brainstorm, or you pause a little bit, or you want to relax a little bit, you will read and you will notice that because of the screenshot, it was not filled up. What I did, I just added here in this, so that when you come back to your code, you see that it's added here for spaces purposes as well. So now the answer model in Django, it represents an individual response to a question within a survey. It contains both the overall survey submission, the response as well, and the specific questions being answered question, and allowing you as an admin to track how each question was answered. Okay. We have, there are two fields as well that are actually storing answers. It's the text answer, holds a written response for open-ended questions, and it's optional. There's choices as well. This handles selections for questions, predefined options, both single or multiple questions as well. And it uses a many-to-many relationship with the choice model. You can also check, okay, what are the types of relationship in the code as well. So you have many-to-many, one-to-many, many-to-one, and etc. There's different types as well. Another thing what you can do is go on Google, check and say, get started with Django instead of REST API or REST framework. You just say Django. You look through the Django documentation. It's going to help you understand what's happening. How do we install it and all these things and etc. Documentation wise, you start there, you read through. It's quite good. Okay. So these are our model, the survey model. Okay. Let's go to the next one. So now, how the system functionality works is that survey creation. Okay, the admin will set up new surveys added by adding entries to a survey model, and each record includes what? It includes title, description, links, and all these type of things. Then you have adding questions. Each survey includes multiple questions, and they are also tied back to the original survey. Okay, we're also defining different choices, defining choices. For questions involving choices, options are also created, linked by the choice model. Okay, we also have the user response. The user response is whereby when someone fills out a survey and a new response is created, recording answers and etc. Data retrieval and analytics, we are using the ORM. Okay, now this is how the interface looks like. I took another example. This is the default Django one. But before we do that, let us now go through the routes. Actually, not the routes, the views. Okay, I'm going to skip this part. I'm going to come to this code here. Okay, so we have our code here. But before our code, we have imported a lot of variables, a lot of plugins and whatnot. So the first one that we need to do is to get the redirect, because once you're done submitting something, we need to redirect you to a successful page or another page and etc. We also need to use the get object or the 404 error. This one I will also explain, but with my understanding, it says it actually it captures the error so that it provides the user, or it captures and raises HTTP 404 error request as well. Okay, if a page does not exist, it will let you know. Then here we are using the lazy URL. We'll also explain not lazy URL, the lazy reverse lazy. I don't know why they say it's lazy. We also have the generic views. So in Django, there's, I'd say, with my understanding, two different ways you can write a view. You can write it with the list view. This is where now we are importing these things. We say list view, detail view, create view, update view, delete view. Okay, but if you did not want to use that, you would create it something like this. You would define, survey underscore list view request and whatever that you want. So you see this code that is here, this code, it's actually the same code as this one, but written in different. That's what I like about Django as well. Okay, so we also importing some of the plugins like the login required mix in. The other one login is required. The messages under the contribute as well. Most of these things, they are built in. Then you also have the JSON response. Okay, we also have the models count as well. Okay, now if we had to ask Google to what is, then we do that. It will tell you that the JSON response is a subclass of a Django's HTTP response that simplifies sending JSON encoded response to the client. Okay, we're mostly going to be working a lot with JSON data as well. Okay, then here now it's our models, the one that we just created from this folder here. Right, not this one, but this one, this line number 12. Say from dot, remember, if I had to, for an example, I was going to say from dot models, and I'm going to say import survey. Another one would be import question. The lines are never ending. The lines of code is never ending. So rather than to do that, you just add them in one line and say, oh, in this file.models, I'm going to import survey, questions, choices, response, and answers. Okay. Awesome. Let's go check our slide here and see what's happening to the next one. Okay, and this is whereby, yes, before we go to the views, because the views are for the user side, I'm going to revert back to the admin side. Remember, we've done the, what's the thing? The models. We've seen how we can write the code, how we can structure it as well. You will actually get access to the GitHub as well. I'll share the link as well so that you are able to go through and contribute if you want to contribute as well. But now, I need us to go back to the admin side. Okay, so now here on the admin side, which is admin here. Okay, sorry about that. My baby is very sick in nature. So we are importing the built-in plugin or library, and we say from django.contrib import admin, because this is admin. So now we say models import survey, questions, choices, and response and whatnot. What's happening here? We're saying that we want to use the default admin built by Django to say that, okay, we need to build this application, build, but we need to have access to the user's interface. And we don't want to create an admin dashboard from scratch. We want to use the built-in so that we can add surveys, we can create all these things, right? By doing that, you're also now creating tabular inline code as well. But let's get to that part and see what's happening as well. So we did mention about the importing. Then now it's the class choice inline admin.tabular inline. This here defines an inline admin class for the choice model, and it allows admin to manage related models directly within the admin page of another model. The tabular inline displays the related objects in a compact table format, right? Then we also have what? The model equals to choice. This is that part here. This part here. We have that. And this specific line specifies that this inline admin is for the choice model, right? The extra one, this tells Django that, okay, display one extra empty row in the inline form when you are adding or editing a question. This provides a convenient way to actually add new choices without having to click another button initially. Okay. Okay, that was the choice inline. Then now we have the question admin one. And now this one uses, instead of the tabular, it uses the model admin. Okay, and it's being pulled from this guy here. Okay, now we have the lines choices, this model, list as well, list display. We're displaying what? So here you can specify what you want to display on the admin side. You can display text, you can display surveys, you can display questions, whatever, and etc. list, filter, and filter by survey, question type, search fields, search by text, etc. Okay, let's see what it means here. So the inline choices by including the choice inline. So this will tell us admin to manage the answers option tied to the question directly within the questions editing page. Okay, and the other one would be list display, and this will list the text, the survey, the question type that is required, and the order as shown in the list as well. And this gives an admin a quick glance at the key detail for each question without needing to click through them. Filtering option as well. This is where you need to filter and etc. The search functionality is there for admin. So more or less the same code that we have on the admin page, it's there as well. We also said can underscore delete is false here as well. Now we also add read only. Okay, say we say list, search, display, we don't have other ones as well, but on the answer we're saying read only. Why? Because we don't want the admin to manipulate the data. Someone could just go to the admin portal and say that, I want to edit Skinny's response and write nonsense or write other stuff that are not related, which may compromise the data as well. So that's why we read only. Only the user that added this content is allowed to actually type and edit. Okay. Then we also have the response. Response is more or less the same as well as the previous one. And to also bypass this means, or for this part as well, is that you don't have to use the Django admin for response object. Managing through customer views and commands or an API should be something that we can do as well. We can also modify the response class to change how it looks within the admin. Okay. Then now we also have the register. So you need to register your application. That's why right here we have them at the end of the code. Here. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to comment that. I'm going to run our application, Python, cd my site. Okay. Oh, forgot that I'm not on the computer. CMD, ls, and those things now they're there. Say Python run. I'm used to writing run, sorry about that. Python, then I'm going to say manage, then run server. Hopefully there's no error, because if there's an error, we are dead. Now we're going to open our application. That's how it's going to look like, or how it looks like. But this part, ignore it, because we're not going to go there for it for now. I want us to go to the data, to the backend, to the admin. So already it logged me in because of previously I've logged in as well. But if you log out and you say admin, this is how it looks like. Like, let's say now you started the application and you never added your views, your layout. It was just like this. You /admin, it's going to give you this admin. And I see that the embedded dark mode. Beautiful. Beautiful. You mostly, it's beautiful. But now when you come here, you won't actually have an account created. You won't have anything. That's when now this part comes in. So after you've registered, or even before you register, you're going to create a super user, right? So now, let's go back to our application. This one here. Yeah? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a user profile model and leave it like that, just like that. Nothing hectic. Let's see. Meta, do we need meta? Meta, let's see if meta will be created for us. No, nothing. It's fine. I'm gonna leave it like that. Okay. Once that is done, I'm gonna open my terminal. Okay. cd to my project. Okay, Python. Remember it's model under the project, so I need to register that project. Forgot about it. Test underscore project. No, not underscore project, but testing app, because it's testing app. We are under here, right? Then I'm gonna say Python manage, then make migrations. Hopefully it will make error. There's some issues. We need pip pillow. Oh yes, this is what I like about this platform. Any error that you face, anything that it will tell you. So since we are using images, we need to install this plugin, right? This plugin. So how are we installing that plugin? I forgot. We need to do one thing: activate our virtual machine or virtual environment. What was it again? It was test env. I don't think I'll need these two. Then I'm gonna say bin, say activate. It might give an error. Okay, if it gives an error, we need to follow the Windows one. The Windows one was it was test environment. Then we're gonna say script. Then we're gonna say activate. Okay. There's something that I'm making that is wrong. Let's go back and see what we're doing that is wrong. Because it's Windows, I will need bash. I was actually correct because it's scripts, then activate. So I'm going to copy this. Open CMD. Never mind, it's already there. There we go. It's already activated, but that's how it is. Activated. Then we're going to say pip install pillow. Okay, once that is done, Python manage, cd testing, is it testing project? Yes, Python manage make migrations. Our migration has been created. Boom. And when you create your migration, this thing gets created as well. See? We good. Now, we created our migration. We need to now migrate our application to the table. Migrate, apply. It has been created. All of these guys have been created. It added authentication and all these things. Beautiful. We are good to go. Now, let's go to the other step. So that we were here. Now, I need to sort of like run this application. I'm going to do CMD again, Python run manage, cd test score Python manage py run server. Now it's running on a local. If I go better here, it's opening. If I admin, take me to the admin. There is no credentials. Dark mode. What do we need to do? I'm gonna stop this. Python, and that guy, what does he say? Slideshow. He says Python, then you must create a super user. Create super user. Okay, it's gonna ask your name. I'm gonna say Skinny. It's gonna ask for my email. You can skip that if you like, but I'm gonna add my email, skinnywyit@gmail.com. Password 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Then 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Password 2 commonly, yes, we're just going to keep it like that. Created. Now, if I go back to that application, not the live one, the local one, it's not running, sorry about that. Okay. If it's running, and I'm going to say admin, there we go. Took my username would be skinny. Password 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Was it 9 or 8? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Hopefully it will work. It's wrong. Why is it wrong? I think it is wrong because of the way the name was stored. Was it skinny like that? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. There we go. Normally, that's how it's going to look after making those migrations. Users have been created as well. Normally, you wouldn't find it, but it's there. User authentication, it's there. Then you know that on the live one, which is now what we're going to be logging in, we log in. Oh, I'm loving this dark mode. Then we have these guys as well. If you included your authentication part, it's fine. You have included. You can now add users by just clicking there. Create their password and etc. You can view users. These are the users that I've created. I don't have a first name. I don't have a last name. If you want to add these things, on your login, you would actually ask them. On your, registration page, you would ask them if you're creating an account. Okay? Staff, yes, it's true. I'm a staff. Filtering, show counts, all these things by super user, active and etc. Your search functionality is there. You can also add a user from here, and groups, they are there as well. Okay, see now that I've commented everything, I'm gonna uncomment them. Then after, we're gonna go back. There they are. There we go. You have your questions, your surveys, your response, and you select them. These are the responses that are available. You can edit them if you can edit them, change them. What is Django? The tool is cool. By who as well, if you have more than one user. You can add a user as well, just right there without leaving that page as well. That is how Django admin works. Okay. Now, back to the views. Let's go revisit our friend here. So before going to the views, our URLs. So now Django URLs help us to connect the address or the URL for users to actually type in their browser. /home, /sign in. Those are URLs when it comes to Django. So now, when we come to the user types of the URL on the browser, like I explained, it's your URL /whatever, and Django receives this request, and it also provides you with the response, your view or your HTML. Now, the URL dispatcher, it's defined in our application, the main project, which is urls.py, and this is where it would request the path. Okay, it will request the path. It also matches the path against the pattern, the patterns you have defined. It also, once the match has found, Django would actually execute the view function, and this view function associated with that pattern. Once the view function has been processed, the request and it returns a response, usually in HTML. And Django sends back the response back to the browser. Okay, now to import on the users, on the project, actually, you're going to import the main one, which is admin, loads the admin features. Django import the path and also include. So if we go to our code and we go to our project, which is here as my site, we have URLs. I've added include here. This includes, says that I've created a project called Survey, an app called Surveys, and it has its own URL. Users cannot access those URL if they're not registered in here. So what I'm saying is that please include the URL for Surveys into the URL of the project, so that when the user types www.skinny.co.za/create or get surveys, it's able to pick up. That's why we're using the include, right? The path is to say, this is the path / whatever, but include the URL. That's why we say include surveys.urls. .urls. Okay. We also add the settings, which is the one that we're going to speak about later on, about the static URLs and etc. And we also included here as well. We said from the contribute, not contribute, but Django config URL static, import static as well. So this is what we're explaining here as well about the URLs and etc. So this the static one, this one, tells Django where to find static files during development. Okay, and this helps this helps to save static files like images, styles during the development as well. So now, once we're done with that part, these are the views. Remember those views that we spoke about, and here we're explaining each component or each line or what's happening, importing the path, importing the views. Now let's go back to the views. We added up where is importing the views. So from our end we said, oh, not importing the views, sorry, we must go to, which page is this one? This is views and URL. So starting with the URL, the one that we just created. See, in our code here, it's empty, but in our live code, it is not, because we created it in a way that we wanted users to simple just go through. We said dot import views. This line said import all the views in the page. You don't have to write them. We only need few lines there. But if we see that the logout view, it's not in our view, we can create it, or you can just use the built-in one. Say contribute.auth views, import logout view. This will allow us to do what? To log out of our application. So we have the survey list view, we have the survey detail view, we have the response view, we have the create view, we have the edit, the delete, the results, your surveys, as well as what? The account logout, just to log out of the account. It explains here what's happening here as well, as you can see. So we have this code, as I did mention, these are the importing. We have imported them. And this line here, or this section, explain each. What does it do? Renders a template with the data displayed. That's the render one. The redirect one sends users to a different URL, often after submission. Once you're done pressing login or sign up, it redirects you to a different page. The get underscore object underscore all underscore 404 tries to find the database item, and if it does not exist, it's going to show you a 404 error or page not found error. Okay. Reverse lazy. I don't know why he's lazy, but it's used in class-based views. Yeah? These class-based views are the views that we are using in this code here. Remember, these are classed. Why are you slow? These are class-based view, classed. But the normal one that you would probably see in other tutorials and section, they use this one. So it does that, and it also it awaits to resolve the URL up until it's actually needed. We have the list view, detail view, create view, and update and delete. These are built-in class-based views that we mentioned, and they are that handle a common task. Listing item, showing one item, creating, editing, and deleting them. We also have the login one. which makes sure someone is logged in before they can access any content. Login is required, similar to the previous one, but this one is it's used within or with function-based views. Messages as well lets you see add a message, submission, successful, whatever. Then we also have JSON response that we just explained a few moments ago. When used, so this is used when returning JSON data, useful for API and HX, etc. We have count, we have surveys, and all these things. So now this is how the other one, the connection works as well, right? Now, before the connection works, we have our views here, as I did mention. So if we go to our document, this part of the document, I almost said document, but this part of the document, what it does is it explains each component and what does it do. Inherits from list views, that's why we have list view, which is designed to display display object in a list. Objects in a list form, if I can put it that way. Model, specify which models that it used, the templates, which templates, HTML, and etc. And the context underscore object name is equals to surveys. So this defines the name of the variable that will hold the list of objects of the survey object. We're also using the Ginger text as well. This is how we're accessing them in our templates. We also define get query as well, query sets, and we specify return survey.object filter is active true. This method overrides the default get query to return only the survey where it is active, meaning they are public. We need to see it. So you can go through all of these things. Not all of them, but yes, all of them. You can go through all of them. Provides you with the other one, user survey list and etc. So you can go through them line by line, but because of our time, we're not going to go through them line by line. Okay, let us now go back to our code. Is it this one? No, it's not. Okay, we have them here. We have our URL, test models, our form. So forms, what's happening with forms? Creating our form, we say import Django forms, import forms built in. We need also the models that we need. After models, what do we need? Survey forms with we need to create our form. This is where now it's going to store the data. We say we need title, description, and if it's active. Done. We have our questions form as well, which is here. We also have our choices form as well. Then we also have our form set for questions. This is where you have them as well, and choices as well. This is the code that allows us to actually fill in the form. Now, when you create your code or your template, as you can see, I do not have templates under my project. See, I have to create that. So I would look into this one. It's under project. Yes, under projects. Did I create app outside of a project? Yes, I think here I did. This guy was supposed to be inside Django project. Yeah, my project, it's actually inside. Yes, it is. So now, inside the project, this main one, I'm gonna say, create a folder, say templates. Everything will go there. Home, then you say under home, you say index.html. Your code will go here. Similar to what we have here. Templates, then we have home, we have that code, we have registration, we have that code, we have surveys, you have your code as well. You also have a baseline or base. Base is where your code will be, your base code layout, so that you don't have to add them in one page as well. So now, if you look at the the base code, it says load static, but before we go there, revisit your settings. No? So now, a quick one would be importing these libraries here as well. Always make sure that you import them, include these guys. include these as well to make sure you don't have any errors. Please do include them. If you're working on a local one, you can include them like that. If you haven't added your applications, you can add them. Don't add these ones for now, and these ones, don't add them. Add only the ones that we're dealing with: survey, crispy form, and etc. Make sure you also go through the templates. You add it like so, like templates, or you can add both them like this as well. So this is just to avoid errors. The static part, you can edit like this as well. So now let us do a test, just a quick one on our application to see how our application looks like on the front end. This is how it looks like. Logged in, surveys, my surveys, create the surveys. I can create a surveys. FNB, is it the coolest? Question. Tell us more about it. Just doing testing. Then you can add other ones or add questions there. Oh, flip. This is a survey about that. Then the question would be, what do you like about FNB? Is it a text, answer, single choice, multiple choice? If it's multiple choice, you're going to add those things. But if it's single, you add it. Ordering, I'll say 1 and create. Once that part is created, it's going to take you to its detail form. Then you are able to see, oh, it's created by me on this day and etc. Take a survey. Tell us more. What do you like about FNB? It gives out cool features on the app. Done. Submit your response. Then you're successfully, thank you for completing this and etc. Then it counts as well how many response. When you go to the admin side, you go to survey, you see it's been there, it's been added, this is the one. You go to response, you see this is the response by myself, and you go to questions, you see all these questions, text, answer, blah, 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 and all these things. So now, if you want the code, you will need to go to GitHub, and it's actually public. Just search GitHub, Siaka developer, Python-backend with FNB. Then you'll be able to get that code as well that we have. So now, just to quickly wrap up our session, because we looking at our time as well. The application that we just built is the one that we just went through. It's a survey data management application with Django and Bootstrap. It allows users to actually authenticate, survey creation as well, management. What's the other thing? Questions and choices management, survey response, results visualization, responsive Bootstrap UI, and to further enhance, you can work with these things like user registration, implement survey sharing via emails, more advanced analytics, implement CSV or Excel export, and etc. Add survey scheduling. Maybe this could be your practice to actually implement these features since you already have access to the GitHub. So that's how Django works with backend development. And I would like to just wrap up the session with that, and I hopefully you guys build cool projects. Project could be task management, block management, and other applications as well. You can use Bootstrap, templates, whatever, to actually enhance your application with it. So I would like to thank you guys for having me, and apologies for taking too long because I saw that time was like went overboard. Next session I'll try to keep it simple and easy and not longer than it should be. And thank you so much for having me. Hope you guys are doing well. Peace out.
All right, thank you so much, Skinny, for that amazing lesson, that informative and engaging lesson. I hope you guys all found that lesson extraordinary. So please also head on social media and thank Skinny. Let's show Skinny some love. All right, guys, so that's it for today's lesson. We'll be continuing in our next lesson, looking into the continuation of the back-end development. But next time, we'll be focusing on building an API. All right, guys, so that's it. Don't forget to hashtag us on our socials. That's hashtag FNB App Academy. I am your host. My name is Karabo Mohole. See you guys next time. Peace.